In this episode of the Butt Chronicles, we take a look at Beavis and Butt-Head, episode 49, Politically Correct.
Welcome to Industrial Industries World Radio's The Butt Chronicles.
You said welcome.
Oh God.
Well, hey, what's up, ladies, gentlemen, and butt munchers alike? Welcome to the Butt Chronicles, your audio guide to everything Beavis and Butt-Head. And I'm your host, DJ Glowing Ice. Anyways, what's going on, guys? Hope this audio is meeting you well, and you're in good health, good fortune, and all that shit. Yeah, we're moving right along here. We are now at episode 49, which is Beavis and Butt-Head in Politically Correct. And it first aired on MTV on October 21st, 1993, and that's all we need to know right now. So now the question is, what happens to Beavis and Butt-Head in Politically Correct? Well, let's check it out. The episode starts out inside Beavis and Butt-Head's house, as both Beavis and Butt-Head sit on the couch watching TV. On the TV, it shows a big buff man with curly dark brown hair, wearing a blue t-shirt that reads, Joey's Auto Body Shop, as he stands in a hotel room. The buff man says, "You have a beautiful body. We're all alone in this hotel room. Having sex with you violates my principles." Cut to a woman wearing a red dress. As a bed is sitting behind her, she says, "Oh, Joey, you're some guy." Dramatic piano music plays as the show title displays on the screen. An announcer reads, "Joey But a Wipo. My story will continue." Cut to the boys sitting on the couch. "This sucks. Nothing's on," Butt-Head says. "Maybe we should do homework," replies Beavis. Butt-Head blinks a couple times in silence, turns to Beavis, and laughs. Beavis starts laughing too. Dumbass. Next, we're at Highland High School, as Beavis and Butt-Head sit in the back of Mr. Van Driesen's class. As we look towards the front, we see Mr. Van Driesen standing in front of his desk, speaking to the class. "Okay, so that about wraps up the nominations for class officers. Are there any other candidates?" Cut to the boys, sitting at their desks in the back. Beavis lifts up his arm and sniffs his armpit. "Hey, Butt-Head, I smell like a man." Butt-Head then lifts up his arm to sniff his armpit. "We're old enough to smell bad. Cool." "Anybody?" Van Driesen still asks the class. Seeing both Beavis and Butt-Head's arms up, he says, "Beavis and Butt-Head, what office do you want to run for? President? Vice president? How about treasurer? That would give you guys a great introduction to the workings of the American political system." "Treasure?" Butt-Head asks as he puts his arm back down. "Is that like the money, dude?" Money. Yeah, cool." "Money. We're there, dude. Count us in." The stuck-up skanky girl in class, Gina, sitting in front of the boys, stands up in disapproval. "Mr. Van Driesen, these guys can't run for office. They're like primates." "Hey, Beavis, have you seen Twin Peaks?" "Yeah, I wish I taped them." Gina's face gets red as she then sits back down. The school bell rings and all the students leave as Van Driesen tells the boys, "Fellas, stick around. We need to have a talk." The boys walk up to Van Driesen's desk as he has a stack of books sitting by his side. "Now guys, if you're gonna run for school office, you need to learn to be sensitive to all the voters, including girls." "Girls are cool." "Yeah, thanks for the memories." "I think it's about time you guys became politically correct. Here's some books that might help." Van Driesen starts reading off the titles of the books that are on his desk. "Heal Your Pain." "Feel Your Vein?" "Touching the Inner Child." "Men Who Feel." "Themselves?" Van Driesen doesn't read the title from the last book, but it clearly reads Female Sexuality. Van Driesen pushes the books towards the boys and says, "Here, this can be a great chance for you both to get in touch with your feminine sides." Cop a feel. Next scene, Beavis and Butt-Head are standing in front of another class, with one hand behind their backs, and the other giving a thumbs up. The boys have written something on the chalkboard behind them, which reads, Beavis and Butt-Head for treasurer. It's misspelled, Trezurrurrur. The boys go in on their speech. So vote for Beavis and Butt-Head on this election day.
Yeah, that would be cool.
The teacher in the classroom, sitting on the top of his desk, then says, Okay, let's open it up to questions. A student raises his hand and asks, How do you plan to get money for the new football uniforms? A bunch of agreeable yes are said from other students throughout the classroom. He said ball.
Yeah.
Another student asks, And what about paying for the class field trip? The boys both pull out the books that Van Driesen gave them earlier and read off of them. I respect your boundaries.
Yeah. Go with your anger.
Can I have a hug? Beavis looks disgusted and says,
Ah! Don't touch me, asswipe. I'll wound your inner child. Then I'll kick your ass.
The boys then laugh and Butt-Head says, This is cool. Then the school bell rings. The next scene shows a screen of a TV monitor as the title card on the screen reads, First Annual Election Debate. Shown in black and white, Beavis and Butt-Head are in a classroom, and we see them sitting next to a smaller nerdy kid with glasses. On the other side of the room is a girl, holding a clipboard, as she asks questions during the debate. The other candidate running for treasurer, the nerdy kid with glasses, says, And if I'm elected treasurer, I'll focus like a laser on the budget. The girl looks at her clipboard and says, Beavis and Butt-Head, you're starting to catch up in the polls. Our polls are rising.
Yeah.
Moving beyond the TV monitor, we are now inside the classroom itself, and the girl continues asking her question. What's the first thing you plan to do if elected? Wait, I know. No. I don't know.
Yeah. What's the answer?
The nerdy dude sitting next to the boys, debating them, then shouts, I told you these guys are bozos! Butt-Head lights a firecracker and places it on the chair next to the nerdy dude's ass. The nerd continues, Vote for me and pop! The firecracker pops. Ow! The nerd jumps up from his seat holding his ass. You buttheads! He yells to the boys. Share your feelings with the group.
Don't edit yourself.
The next scene, Beavis and Butt-Head are sitting in an empty classroom in their desks in the back of the room. A sign on the chalkboard reads, Detention, as the boys have their desks together, reading from the same book. Van Driesen opens the door and enters the classroom, holding a piece of paper. Well, the results are in. You guys lost with 1 vote. Whoa, that's close. No, Butt-Head. You only received 1 vote. I wonder who it was.
It was you.
Oh, yeah.
Don't worry, I'm gonna vote for us too.
Cool. I'm afraid it's a little late for that, Beavis. But I hope this campaign was a growing experience for you. Yeah. These books got us in touch with our feminine sides. Soft and touching piano music plays, as Beavis adds,
Yeah, and our right to receive pleasure.
Butt-Head then holds up a book with a title that reads Female Sexuality, as the boys then both look at it and laugh. And that's the end of Beavis and Butt-Head and Politically Correct. Now let's check out the music videos. The first music video is My Man by Yoko Ono. When the video starts playing, the boys look at each other silently, then look back at the video. What the hell is this crap?
Change it, Butt-Head, come on. This sucks, change it.
In the video, Yoko is wearing sunglasses and looks down periodically. Why does she keep looking down?
She's looking at the words. I don't think she's really blind.
Yeah, she's dumb though. And then Beavis changes it. Next is One by Metallica, and at the very beginning, when it's the mellow part of the song, Beavis asks,
What's this?
You should know, Butt Munch. This is Metallica.
Oh, yeah. This part of the song sucks, but it gets cool later. It starts going, dun-dun-dun-dun. Darkness imprisoning me. I cannot live. I cannot die.
Shut up, Beavis. You're beginning to piss me off. Lars is cool.
You mean that dude on that Addams Family?
You're thinking of Lurch, dumbass. Lars could kick Lurch's butt.
Yeah, he could kick Cousin It's butt too.
Does Cousin It have a butt?
Yeah.
The boys then both put their hands up and wiggle their fingers as Beavis goes, you rang, Mrs. Adams? When the heavy part of the song comes on, the boys both shout and then say that Metallica rules. Beavis sings along, and Butt-Head tells him to shut up. And then they both air guitar to the guitar riff that goes, dun-dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun-dun. We're pretty cool, huh, Beavis? And then the last music video is Sweet Harmony by The Beloved. And for context, this video is like a bunch of naked people in a room, sitting in different positions all across just this white background, white floor. And then there's like this white smoke that goes through to cover up the more private parts of the nude people in this video. So the music video starts out with the male singer sitting alone in the nude.
Who's that guy?
I don't know, but he's naked.
How come?
Because he doesn't have any clothes on. Did you know that, like, when you're born, you're naked?
Yeah. How come?
Well, it's because, like, right before you're born, the doctor has this, whoa, naked chicks. Both of the boys' eyes are wide open as they see a bunch of naked chicks in the video. The boys go back and forth saying, look, check it out, over there. Beavis, there's like 30 naked chicks in this video.
Naked chicks! Naked chicks!
This is the coolest video I've ever seen. That white smoke is starting to piss me off. They must have, like, known that this music sucked, so they, like, brought in a bunch of naked chicks.
Yeah. They did the right thing.
Whoa, that chick over there on the right. She just moved her arm and you could see all her boobs. And then she turned around and you could see her butt, too. Beavis frantically screams, where? And then Butt-Head says, you missed it, Beavis. Dumbass. That's the music videos. Now let's get into the fun facts. Some fun facts for this episode is I've noticed there's some continuity issues in here, so let's go through the few things I found. So both of the issues are in the classroom scene where the boys are up front and they're talking to students as to why they should vote for them. On the blackboard, it says Beavis and Butt-Head for treasurer. They spell it wrong, but in two different shots, it's spelled two different ways. So in the full body shot of Beavis and Butt-Head standing in front of the chalkboard, the treasurer is spelled out Trezurrurr. And then the spelling changes slightly when it shows a more close-up shot of the boys with just their heads and the word above it, that it's now spelled Trezurrurr. So in the close-up shot, it has an extra UR in the word, and the full body shot doesn't. And then another continuity issue is when the teacher lets the students raise their hand and ask Beavis and Butt-Head questions. When the first kid raises his hand, we see a shot of him from the back. And from the back, he's wearing a green shirt and he has brown hair. But when it shows him when he's asking the question up front, he has blonde hair and a blue shirt. So it's just some fun little bloopers you could check out. This episode was officially released on the Brushes with Death home video. And Politically Correct is the 18th episode of Season 3 of Beavis and Butt-Head, and it's the 49th episode overall. And IMDb, the Internet Movie Database, gives Beavis and Butt-Head, Politically Correct, a 7.4 out of 10 rating. And now I will give you my review. Beavis and Butt-Head and Politically Correct. Ooh, baby, I do remember this as a kid. And I don't remember the episode, the storyline, or anything. It's just very I think the biggest thing was the music video with all the naked people in it. That was the most memorable thing. And then just Beavis saying thanks for the memories. There was another, don't edit yourself. That's what Beavis says to the nerdy kid after they put the firecracker by his butt. And when you're a kid, you really don't know what the word edit is. And so as a kid watching this, I always thought he said, don't ed at yourself or don't egg at yourself. Like, I didn't really understand what Beavis was saying. Now, finally watching it later, you understand. But so let's just take a look at this episode altogether as a story, all right? Beavis and Butt-Head mistakenly throw themselves into the ring to become treasurer of the school. And they want to become treasurer because it's money. And with money, you get chicks. Yeah, you get a lot of cool stuff with money. So that's what brings Beavis and Butt-Head into it. That's what drives them to want to become treasurer in the first place. They don't care about having a role or having a title to their name. They just want money. Don't we all? And so as Beavis and Butt-Head talk to Gina, the skanky chick that kind of tries to bash them and calls them a name, they just throw it right back at her. They don't care. That makes Van Driesen say, hey, you can't talk to girls like that. Here's some books to, make sure everybody, you try to get them on your side and have them vote for you. And so Beavis and Butt-Head are very simple. You really do need to tell them step by step what they need to do. So what they thought Van Driesen was doing, giving them these books, was to literally read from these books to the people, their potential voters, when Van Driesen was just hoping they would read the books, take the knowledge, and apply it to what they're trying to do on their own. But no, they're just taking these books literally word for word and throwing that into their campaign speeches. So when helping Beavis and Butt-Head, you gotta be very detailed, step by step, what you should do. And I think Van Driesen just thought that maybe they were smart enough that they would actually do exactly what he intended to do. But once again, it blows up in Van Driesen's face. Van Driesen, he's trying to be helpful to Beavis and Butt-Head, but it just never works out. So I think the best thing about this episode is Beavis and Butt-Head are in a position where they got to be very serious and straightforward and try to win people over, but through debates and doing, speeches in front of the class, they're just truly themselves, and they don't even try to attempt to clean anything up. They're just, I guess they do by reading off the books or whatever, but that just makes things even funnier. So that's the beauty of this episode, is them just reading random positive shit from these books, hoping they win people over that way. Which, hey, sometimes in the real world, that's all it takes, is just to tell somebody some positive garbage you found off of Pinterest or something. And that's just how some people are. All you got to say is live, laugh, love, and people, think you're a good person. So in some aspects of the world, there are Beavis and Butt-Heads out there online, just sharing positive quotes all the time. That's kind of like a reflection of this episode in a way. But regardless, the students of Highland High don't fall for it. They lose the election, and Butt-Head is the only person that voted for them. And sad to say they didn't become treasurer. But there is a silver lining at the end, because they got in touch with their feminine sides as they look at a female sexuality book and laugh. Very touching, it really warmed my heart. So I gotta say, the music videos were pretty memorable. Both the Metallica one and the Beloved music video with all the naked people are two videos that really do stick out in the whole, massive videos they watched over the years and seasons. And it's all right here in this episode. And also the Yoko Ono one. How could I forget that one? Because I remember watching that too, and I was like, really, what the hell is this crap? And that was before I knew who Yoko Ono was. She was married, or she was with John Lennon from the Beatles and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I just remember seeing that as a kid, and I was like, that really does suck. What is that? Is that even a song? It's like, what is this old lady doing? So looking at this episode, it has a really good story to it and a lot of good parts. There ain't any part in this episode that really sucks, but the thing is, there really isn't a part in this episode that is truly, like, gut-bustingly funny. I mean, it's funny to a certain extent, but it's not like the maximum push, like it's the ultimate funniest episode or anything. But it's really good. It's got great music videos. So I will give Beavis and Butt-Head Politically Correct an 8 out of 10. It is a good one. It is a shining star in this season 3. So yeah, that's what I'm going to leave it at. Beavis and Butt-Head Politically Correct gets an 8 out of 10.